At 2:17 a.m., my phone erupted with a piercing motion. Alert from my garage, repping me from a dead sleep, heart pounding. I fumbled for the screen, my eyes barely adjusting to the glare of security feed flickered on. And what I saw made my breath catch. There, slithering under the half-open garage door, in a garish pink hoodie, a black sky mask, and yellow dish gloves, was Linda's self-crowned dictator of our HOA and the neighborhood's reigning terror. She moved like a bargain bin spy, a flashlight clenched. In her teeth, bolt cutters gripped in one hand, and a wild glint in her eyes that screamed she was on a divine crusade. I blinked hard, wondering if this was some twisted prank bet. Then she stood inside, stomped toward me, sleek black ATV, and hissed at last him, reclaiming what's mine. I was torn between dialing 911, grabbing a snack, or just laughing. This wasn't a mere break-in. It was a suburban melodrama unfolding in real time, with Linda as sun-hinged protagonist and my garage Asher battlefield. The twist: she had no clue. My garage was a fortress of 360 cameras, motion sensors, and a biometric lock system that could shame a Pentagon foe. Nor did she know her face had already been scanned, flagged, and locked out the second she thresholds. I hit record, leaned back, and muttered, "Let's play." To understand this madness, you need to know Linda. She wasn't just a nuisance, she was a one-woman plague. Since I'm moving into our quiet, cul-de-sac from, seeing fake fines for grass, a quarter-inch too tall to be rating kids for sidewalk chalk art, Linda fancied herself the enforcer of a fantasy HOA empire. Her latest fixation was my ATV, a jet black beast I bought legally off a social media marketplace, complete with a bill of sale to Linda. It wasn't just a vehicle, it was a relic of her past. She claimed her late uncle, gone over a year, had owned an identical ATV and promised set it to her. Never mind that I had receipts and registration. In her fevered mind, I'd swindled her inheritance, and she was so bent on taking it back. Her campaign started subtly, notes taped to my doormending. I return Uncle Ray's a TV laced with bizarre terms like familial equity and ancestral claim. When I ignored her, she escalated, dragging the HOA Bordinto her vendetta, but even they couldn't invent a rule to justify her obsession. So, like any thwarted tyrant, Linda turned crime that night at 2:17 a.m. She thought she was executing a master plan. Instead, she'd stumbled into my Fortress Protocol, a security system I designed myself. I'm no weekend mechanic. I work in tech security for defense contractors. My garage isn't just a parking spot. It's a testing ground for cutting-edge biometrics, AI motion capture, and facial recognition. Linda wasn't breaking into a garage. She was infiltrating a Class of E-grade lab. As she crept toward the ath, oblivious to the trap, she yanked the handlebars and climbed on, jabbing the ignition. The panel flared red, and a cold robotic voice and toned unauthorized face detected access denied. Linda Frazathan mashed the button again. System locked. The voice snapped. The garage plunged into darkness. Red perimeter lights snapped on, and the door slammed shut with a metallic clang. Intruder content initiated. The speakers blurred. Linda's bravado crumbled. She shrieked, "I'm trapped. I've been abducted." A bold claim for someone caught red-handed on camera. I streamed the photo, a private Discord group of fellow developers, and within seconds, comments flooded in. "Is this live?" she's praying. "To start that thing," as she flailed, knocking over a can of motor oil and crashing into a tool rack. Wrenches rained down like a metal storm. The chat explode with emojis and timestamps for viral clips. 5 minutes later, the system tutorial, the police. Linda clawed at the door, her bolt cutters useless against my tech. The speakers, voiced by a custom AI, warned, attempting unauthorized race authorities. Dispatched. Remain still. She cowered in a corner, stunned. Her heist had been derailed by what she likely thought was a basic alarm. Theckups arrived, flashlights cutting through thumb. I greeted them in pajama pants and a hoodie, coffee in hand, and disengaged. The lock via my phone, they found. Linda slumped on a paint can, arms crossed, muttering about cosmic justice-esh. Launched into a tearful tirade claiming the ATV was her uncle's and I'd stolen it, it's in his will. She wailed, waving a crumpled obituary. Like it was a deed, I handed over my folder bill off-sale registration title transfer theld. Officer skimmed it and said, "Ma'am, this is legit." Linda's face twisted then. Why did his garage cage me like a criminal? I smirked. Because you broke in like one, the officer nodded. You were intimidated, defeated, but defiant. Linda Voeto, sue me for tech-induced trauma. I knew this was just round one. Linda didn't tretriot. She reloaded by noon and Honadas hit my inbox, accusing me of Fimberpoor garage use for storing my adage complete. With a blurry photo and a $200 fine. The next day, a second notice waste taped to my door and demanding a board meeting. I called the HOA efficiently to learn Linda was the board president, a fact she'd kept quiet. While ruling like a warlord, worse, she'd spun a tally that I was a thief who conned 80-ing man and booby-trapped my garage. A talk humiliate her neighbors started. Avoiding whispering as I passed, I considered liking the footage, but held back, sensing a bigger game instead. I called me friend Aaron, a lawyer specializing in property disputes. I sent him the video documents and HOA notices. He called back chuckling. Darkly, this is a slam dunk, butches, unhinged. We need to play smart. Had drafted a letter to the HOA warning of legal action for false claims. And advised documenting everything Linda doubled, down slapping me with anotherfin for my ATV's aggressive black and red color scheme, claiming it disrupted community's aesthetic harmony. Cheerlead her loyalists for an impromptu HO meeting in her yard, waving printouts off my garage feed and ranting about vehicular intimidation, but cracks app peered anonymous. Note slipped under me door. We saw the video. She's nuts. We've got your back. Then came a game changer. A social media message from Jake, Linda's arranged nephew and son of Hurlet uncle, landed in my inbox. That Tivas, my dad's, he wrote Linda's, lying hessled it to keep it from her. I helped list it. He sent screenshots of the sale messages with his dad and a notarized desk document confirming the transaction. I nearly shouted this wasn't just a fin seat, it was ammunition. Aaron pounced, filing a cease and desist against Linda for defamation and theft. Backed by Jake's evidence, we sent an 80-page dossier to her doorstep. Served mid rally, a neighbor caught her reaction on video, smugness melting into panic as she screamed about for juries and hackers. The HOA Oversight Committee, dormant under Linda's reign, suddenly woke up, calling a hearing to review her actions. I arrived with Aaron armed with a tablet of organized evidence. Linda rolled in with a cart of binders and a fake neck brace ready for her armament. She ranted about my military-grade spy gear and accused me of recruiting kids with a TV rides. Aaron played the break-in footage system logs and Jake's documents. The retired judge in the panel, Carl, cut her off. This is on a movie, ma'am. The board dismissed her fiends, ordered an apology, and suspended her unilateral powers. Linda stormed out, vowing revenge. She didn't quit. Linda launched residents against tech tyranny, donning yellow vests with two cronies and patrolling with walkie-talkie, scribbling evidence against suspicious homes. She filed a laughable counter-suit claiming my facial recognition system targeted her with digital entrapment. Taryn got it tossed, but her real blow came when the elected HOA president, a figurehead under Linda's thumb, resigned. Sitting ethical conflicts, an emergency election was called. Dana, a calm, respected neighbor, ran against Linda. Backed by everyone she tormented, Linda comped with a sash proclaiming percentin restored and cookies stamped with her face. Dana offered quiet promises of peace. The vote was a rout. Dana won in a landslide. Linda screamed about a rigged election, but her mic wascot and the crowd cheered. An audit of HO finances sealed her fate. Dana uncovered $8,000 in misspent funds, fake contracts, personal expenses, disguised as community enrichment, even payments to Linda's cousin's kid for dog walking. Thikenty launched an inquiry after T. Falding falsified Reports Linda had signed Harley's quit the board when privately apologizing for staying silent. Linda stopped showing up, posting instead to a sod Facebook group, True Ho Justice. With 3 followers, her house hit the market and she vanished, movers hauling her life away as she snapped at them. No one waved goodbye. A week later, a certified letter arrived from Linda, written on floral paper. I was right. She began accusing of orchestrating her downfall with psychological warfare. She claimed to have hired a lawyer for a cyber bullying suit against the HOA. Aaron told me Toynier it's suspecting a bluff. Then a blog post surfaced in another state. WHEN HOAS betray heroes unmistakably. Linda's work painting her as a martyr undone by me. Devil's machine. It flopped. His story wasn't hers to rewrite the county's record. Now public detailed her fraud and Donna's reforms restored trust. I loaneth a TV to a motorsports museum for an exhibit. The neighborhood rebellion comple. With the access denied, audio visitors laughed. The story spread. A regional HOA network asked me to speak in governance using our saga as a cautionary tale. I agreed, stipulating Linda's face stay blur, not for her buttbeck. I was done. The neighborhood held, kids drew on sidewalks, block parties returned, and my garage vault became a local legend. I had dead and access denied, lead sign glowing nightly. Linda was gone. Her empire dust. But that night, as I locked up, the system's hum reminded me this wasna about an ATV. English auto-generated